Chapter 8. I'm a detective, ask me nothing. Chat last week in the studio led to the time-honoured tradition of reunions. No, not family reunions where your uncle gets drunk and tries to hit on the catering staff or anything that moves, more or less. But high school reunions 10 years down the track, where people are a little older, well, 10 years, a little wiser, hopefully, a hell of a lot more entertaining, and ultimately by the end of the night completely smashed, remembering the good times. Well, that was the plan originally. Actually, the plan I gave myself while on the drive down to the pub in Richmond where my 10-year shindig was hosted was to see if I could find the biggest turnaround in 10 years. I wanted to find the quiet, unassuming nerd at the front of the class that was now a highly coveted professional porn star taking on entire footy teams in one hit. I wanted to meet the kid who spoke 2 words the entire year, who had done an incredible 180-degree turn and was now a professional speaker and motivation coach around the world. And those psychopathic gothic kids who loved fire and car crashes? I was hoping they were now well-rounded members of the local community and possibly even members of their local church. Yes, I know, I have huge expectations here, but I'm a guy that well and truly loves a big surprise. 20 minutes later, after I'd parked my car in a dark alley, away from possible drunks or former students who still held a grudge, drink in hand and rudimentary greetings to everyone whose name I remembered, I really started to wonder why I came down here in the first place. My excitement level that started at 10 was fading rapidly as the night progressed, and the following happened in no particular order. The girls I had a crush on during high school never showed. I was hoping. My ex-girlfriends failed to show as well, meaning they couldn't look at what they were now missing out on. Yeah, right. More than 50% of the people I chatted to worked in a boring office and hated it, which is understandable. But when you spend the majority of your 10-year reunion complaining about it, well, maybe it's time to try a new career. Most of them had kids and lots of kid stories, which is awesome if you have kids. Not so much if you don't. My mates and I didn't at the time. Happily now, most of us do. One of the more interesting people in the room was now a detective, all right. Except they wouldn't share any interesting stories at all. I was hoping for gritty gumshoe tales in grimy back alleys in the rain with cheap smokes, hot dames and 38 specials. I got 4/5 of nothing, as she flat out refused to chat about the inner workings of her career, to the point where I was wondering if she was actually pretending to be a detective and really worked in an office somewhere, and obviously hated it. Tell me about...
No.
Right. But what about...
Look, I've just spotted some of my friends and I'm going to talk to them.
Sure, but just quick...
No.
Right. The second most interesting person in the room was the girl who sliced off cancerous growths at the local hospital. This was definitely not one of the conversations that included the words, "Awesome, let me buy you a drink so you can tell me more." And thankfully she didn't bring any of her work with her to show off to former classmates. The two guys a lot of the years suspected were actually seeing each other during high school confirmed that they were both church practitioners with their own parish, complete with wives, kids, and everything else. They still could be secret lovers for all I know, but if so, they didn't reveal that during the "what are you up to now" chats. No class psychopaths turned up. You know, the kids who were quite happy stabbing the tables with the sharp end of a compass daily, grunting at passerbys in the back corner of the science lab, or playing with a lighter constantly without using it to light up smokes at the back of the school oval. While they may have added a dash more excitement to what was shaping up to be a quite dull get-together, it also meant nobody ended up catching a ride to the local emergency department if the wrong things were said. So in all honesty, this was probably a good thing. Everyone I wanted to keep in contact with, well, I was already in contact with. And after reconnecting with people I used to annoy in classrooms on a weekly basis, there wasn't anyone there that I thought, oh God, why did we ever lose touch? Perhaps if people had done a few more 180 turns, like I'd hoped they did in the game I devised on the drive down, but even then. The cold beer was crap. Maybe it had been 10 years since the taps had been cleaned out. Yes, we serve beer just as you remember drinking it when sneaking out of class early during year 12. Boredom kicked in ridiculously quick. And after the 5th conversation starting with, "I work in an office and I hate it," 4 lukewarm beers and a conversation about hospital slices, religion, and nothing to eat, a friend and I walked across the road to the pizza place and proceeded to stay there the entire night. The pizza was salty, the beer was crisp, and the conversation was rockin'. No detectives, photocopier stories, or class psychopaths needed. So, were we all older? Yes. Wiser? Probably. Boring? Mind-numbingly so. If you're expecting fireworks and torrents of awesome memories when you walk into your 10-year school reunion, forget it. Grab a 6-pack of beer and stalk people on Facebook instead. Not only is it more cost-effective, but you'll find out everything you need to know in an amazingly shorter time. without having a need to devise a boredom-killing game on the drive down. Plus, you'll never find out what they do with cancerous growths once they've been removed from a patient, which is a win-win situation for everyone, really.